Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans and enjoy. And over on Anime King 2 I posted a new episode of What If Naruto was a smart prodigy. And also stay in tune because later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was banished and gathered all of the Jinchurikis, and I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support guys, and yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So the last time we left off, T'Challa was on the ground, as he couldn't believe that Tishan was behind all of this. As he tried to attack him, but Tishan activated something in his suit that electrocuted him. He was the one that helped design it after all. As they then took him away. As Shuri woke up, as she was in a camp. As she was the one being held hostage. As a man told her, if she does anything out of the way, she can see her brother in a body bag. But if she behaved nicely, he will let her brother come here. As she didn't want to see her brother die, so she calmed herself. Meanwhile, Naruto was going through the building and taking care of a lot of the soldiers when he heard explosions. As he went to the window, as he saw an explosion rocketed the building that magic was in. As his mind started to race, as Kurama told him to calm down as Naruto was getting angry, as he went off with incredible speed. He arrived at the destroyed hotel, as he started to cry out her name, as he was ripping everything apart looking for her, as he couldn't even look at all the dead bodies around because that made him fear the worst. But he heard her call out to him as he saw her, as she was looking at the little boy, as she was holding the wound on his chest, so he wouldn't bleed out. As Naruto came there and added his chakra and poofed out the object out of him, as the boy wound quickly healed up. As Naruto told her to stay here that he will handle this, but she said no, they were a team after all, and she wanted to help as well to take care of these bastards for what they did. So with that, the both of them headed inside. Meanwhile, T'Challa woke up as he saw Tishan, as Tishan left him inside with his suit in pieces and also his helmet on the table. As he was left in the room with a rather big guy, as the man wanted to become the Black Panther as well, as he put on the helmet, but it killed him as his dead body dropped to the ground. As T'Challa told him that he wasn't worthy, as he took up his helmet and left the room. As he then heard explosions rocketing through the camp and the hallway. As he came outside to see a clone of Naruto as he poofed away. Every time he came upon a clone, they always poofed away until he met up with the real Naruto. As Naruto told him that he was here for him. He then saw Tishan trying to escape on a plane as T'Challa broke through the window and went over there. As he ran through all the gunfire, getting shot a few times, but he made his way. As he held his hand tightly around Tishan's throat until the man couldn't breathe anymore as his body went limp. As Naruto told him that it was done. Naruto then heard something behind him as it was a gun that went off. As he dashed forward as fast enough as he got shot right in his chest as the bullet went inside, but it did not pierce him as that was vibranium bullet. As T'Challa was surprised it did not pierce right through him. As Naruto woke up, as Kurama was cursing at him, as he should not be an idiot because if he died, he would probably die here as well. As he would wake up soon though. As Naruto decided to explore the place in here, as the Ancient One told him to explore the place after all, he came upon a door as he entered, as he saw death. She transformed into Hinata and then into Sakura, but Naruto told her to stop that, as she transformed to a girl with blonde short hair. As she told him that she apologized if she hurt him anyway, as she called him her beloved, as Naruto asked why does she call him that, as she told him that she has been here ever since the existence of time, as Piba came by her and just passed on to the afterlife, but he was a special case, as she's been watching him his entire life as she showed him his life back at the elemental nations, as she told Naruto to call her Frigga, as she told Naruto that she know about his plan, and not even Kurama know but she know. So yeah guys, that was basically that's how we left off. You guys can switch across the place to check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. What plan, Naruto said. Frigga's smile grew bigger. Don't bother playing stupid with me, beloved. What did I tell you the first time we met? You cannot hide such things from me. You might be able to hide it from Kurama, but I'm not that easy to deceive. I don't know what you're talking about, Naruto said. And not that I would, but I cannot hide anything from Kurama. She simply nodded. Alright then, beloved, if you want to continue playing this game, I understand. But you should know that you're not the only one trying to break the laws me and my siblings put in place. The flame flickered again, shifting to a man that Naruto recognized. Thanos, he said. As she nodded, the two of you are practically one in the same. Two sides of the same coin. Both of you face incredible hardship because of the makings of your birth. Both of you are the last of your kind. Both of you hold the will to break or build galaxies. Both of you are mixed up in eternity and death. The only thing that separates you is that when you come to face with your failures, one of you move forward to find a way to keep it from never happening again. The other tried to stop it from never happening at all. Naruto looked at the fire for a long time, staring into the face of the man the people call the most powerful being in the universe. He then got up as he wielded a door to appear next to him. If what you're saying is true, Naruto said, then the difference between me and him is that I will never follow through a plan like that. She simply smiled, then let leave the question. Who has the greater will? The one that can carry out something like that, or the one that can do it but choose not to do it? As Naruto didn't say anything, as he stepped through the door. Naruto's eyes opened in the real world as he grunted as a light shined in his pupils. As he tried to get up, but a hand was placed on his chest trying to push him back down. As Naruto opened his eyes to see a man, he was from African descent. He had a bald head and a thick, black goatee around his jaw and mouth. He didn't look like a doctor, his casual looking purple shirt did not fit the bill. I would recommend you lie still, boy. It's a miracle you're awake after all. It's not a miracle, Naruto said. As he lied back down. How long was I out? The man backed away. Not long. You've been through the night. It's daybreak now. Where am I, Naruto said. You will know when I'm allowed to tell you. Until then, rest, the man said. Naruto started to get up again, pushing past the pain and the man helping Anne. Yeah, I can't do that, he said. Got too many questions. Like where the hell I am and where my friend is. As his bare feet touched the floor. Oh, my name is... I already know who you are, the man said. You are the colonizer that has been running ramp the last few days. My name is Zuri, Naruto Uzumaki. Now please lay back down. I prefer if we do not fight here. We are on sacred ground after all. Sacred ground, Naruto asked. Zuri nodded. King, thought that it was best to keep you out of the palace while you recovered. I volunteered to watch over you in one of the shrines in the city while we wait. As for your friend, she's been kept outside the palace in a separate area. She is safe. You have my word. Naruto felt those zero emotions as he felt no lie coming from the man. Well then, I'm fine, Naruto said. Tell whoever you need to tell that I want to talk to your king. That would prove difficult, I'm afraid, Zoro said, with a grave look on his face. And why is that, Naruto asked. The princess has been taken and she's been held for ransom by the gang of military you and the prince fought. The king and prince are currently holding a council meeting and deciding what to do. While that is going on, no one can enter, not even myself. What's to discuss? Aren't they going to save her, Naruto asked. Zoro's sigh is a bit more complicated than that, as he patted Naruto on the shoulder. Come, let's get something to eat. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Aren't you supposed to keep me here? Zoro smiled. They said to keep watch over you while you heal. You're healed. I'm hungry. Let's eat. Naruto smiled back. I think I'm beginning to like you, old man, he said. Come, Zoro said. If he was offended by the name, he did not show it, as he just lead Naruto out of the room. Time skip. Naruto sighed as he finished his food, as he wiped his mouth with a napkin. Damn, that was pretty good, he said. As Naruto was wearing now a white long sleeve shirt with blue tribal designs on it, and black pants with sandals. It's one of my favorite dishes, Zuri said. I've been coming here since I was a boy. As Naruto looked around as he took a look at the scenery, they were eating at a small little shop. They were eating out at an open downtown area, allowing you to be a part of the moving people. The area was busy, everyone going from another place to another, happily going about their day in the world. As everyone was wearing some tribal clothing with a lot of design on them, as everything was in league of their own design. As he chuckled, this place kind of reminded me of home, he said. Zuri looked at Naruto. Where are you from? I'm not from here, Naruto said. I know you're not from what? No, Naruto said. I am not from Earth. As he looked at Naruto, why are you telling me this? Surely you know I'm going to tell my king. Well, I figure it will get out eventually. Why not just cut to the chase? I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, Zuri said. I see the videos of you fighting, and you don't fight like a human. Well, I never want to fight anyone here if it makes you feel better, Naruto said. Zuri looked him up and down. Why does this place remind you of your home? I guess it's the people, Naruto said. The feeling of it all, this place is extraordinary compared to anywhere else on the earth. Nowhere else on Earth or even off of Earth could remind me of the feel of Konoha. Nowhere but here, he said, as he then chuckled. That, and we were considered a secret village, with a group of super soldiers and elite fighters protecting its borders. Though we were not as secretive as you are, most or every major villages know where we are. But they knew better than to try and find us, with the first Hokage's forest protecting us. The first Hokage forest? Zuri asked. Yes, it was a forest that surrounded our village that was created by our first Hokage. It was thick, and we have a way of knowing when someone entered or left the forest at any time. Attacking us head-on was never an option for most villages because of that, as we know how to dictate any fight that came our way. Your village sounded very formidable, said Zuri. It was, Naruto said, as the two of them sat at the table and enjoyed the comfortable silence. After a while, Zuri spoke. I suppose we should be heading back now. Yeah, Naruto said. That's gonna prove difficult, I'm afraid. Why? Zuri asked in confusion. I'm a clone, as the Shadow Clone said with a sad look on his face. He was almost looking to apologize. The boss swapped out with me the moment we left the shrine. Zuri sighed. I told you that you cannot get in. The king is already in the council chambers. Tension is already high. Do you really think it's right to push your buttons? Oh, you mean the whole princess thing? Boss already have plans for that. It was good meeting you, Zuri. We should do this again sometime. As he then poofed away, Zuri simply sighed as he got up. Meanwhile, the king read the note, the ransom note, as he handed it over to his son. As it read, Dear King, by now you have realized, both your daughter and son are in my custody. And as I'm sure you realize one of your own has betrayed you, giving us weapons that can stand against you and the means to enter your city undetected. But do not confuse this for a thirst for war. That is not what I want. What I want is your technology. Because I have your son, we can re-inverse, engineer your Black Panther armor. And because we have your daughter, we can create our own weapons using her intelligence and reveal whatever they know to the public. But it doesn't have to be this way. Reveal yourself to the world. Agree to share your technology and your knowledge, and I will free them as a sign of thanks. You have till nightfall. After T'Challa finished a note, the head of the order tribe said that was sent to us after the attack. Luckily you have returned, and our war dogs retrieved the Black Panther armor. But the princess is still in their hands. If they manage to get her to help them, these dogs will become even more of a danger to Wakanda. T'Challa narrowed his eyes at the man. Shuri will never help those men. Not willingly, no, the river tribe elder spoke. But there is no telling what they will do to her when we refuse their demands. When? The prince said. She's your princess. There is no other option but to save her, said T'Challa. The merchant tribe elder scoffed. A woman, dressed in an elegant black and gold piece. We are well aware of who she is. However, these are strong, difficult circumstances. We can't just attack these people. It would lead to open warfare, something that hasn't been done outside of Wakanda borders since its founding. So what do you suggest as a leader of the mining tribe, a middle-aged woman? If we refuse, they will take our princess away. That is unacceptable. Not only is she a child, but she is a pride of our country as well. It will be like slapping our country in the face. Are you seriously suggesting a rescue operation? The River Tribe Elder asks. Have you forgotten our Black Panther is useless against these thugs? They incapacitated him before. Who's to say it cannot be done? And if we agree to let him go, they are an army of thousands with weapons that can penetrate our defenses. To send a small army there will be send them to their death. I'm sorry, but I'm not willing to risk my people for such a suicide mission. Then don't send a party, T'Challa said. Just send me. No. As he turned to his father, surprise on his face. What? Baba, I can do it, he said. You know I already lost a child today. I'm not going to lose the other, the king said. The child looked at his father, shocked. You haven't lost anyone. We will get her back. Read the bottom of the note, the king said. As he looked at the bottom of the note, who is Ashebe, he asked. A mistake from the past, the king said. The border elder tribe spoke. Ashebe is an outsider your father brought in here to be healed, much like the man you brought back here last night to be healed as well. Why did you bring this man to Wakanda? He asked his father. Several decades ago, I was running a mission as the Black Panther. Myself and a group was extracting a small group in a village that was taken over. The mission went horribly wrong. The target was killed in a bombing. It was a bloodbath. We tried to assist the town in getting rid of the bandits, and because of that, the fighting only lasted for 2 days. We did a sweep over the area. We came across a priest that has been stabbed multiple times. It was a miracle that he was still alive. If I had done nothing, he would have been the only civilian dead. My guilt got the better of me. I took him to Wakanda to have his wounds healed. But doing so, he brought a monster to our doorsteps, the mining tribe elder said. When he awoke, we immediately knew something was wrong. We catch him, talking to himself, referring to himself by a second name. Daki, the merchant, tribe elder said, getting nods from the other leaders. His awareness that we existed make it even worse, the king said. He couldn't understand why we kept ourselves a secret for so long. He started to beg me to open Wakanda to the world. At first I thought it was compassion that drove his want for me to open Wakanda. But I later learned it was something much darker. The border tribe leader took over for his king. After we refused his request, he asked to leave Wakanda. We agreed, sending him to America with the means to start a new life and get an education, with the understanding that he will tell no one of what he experienced here. We kept him under watch for nearly a decade, the man getting a doctorate in communication. Then he disappeared off the face of the earth for several years, only to pop back up again in Godaza. Our war dogs then claimed the deaths of several people there, a group that was brutally, all of them, stabbed to death. After that he went quiet. This is the first time we heard of him in 15 years. He is not a stable man, but he's a smart one, the king said. He knows that we need Shuri alive if we refuse his demands. He can use her to show the world, at least partially, what we are, while keeping her to themselves to abuse her intellect. Because of this, I know she's safe for now. If we attack, we risk exposure. If we try to call his bluff, we will be exposed. If we agree, we have been exposed completely. This is a no-win scenario, the king said. Before anyone else could say anything, there was a large knock on the door. The king turned towards it. Enter, he said. The door creaked open. Yo, Naruto said as he came in. What is this boy doing here? The border leader asked. The river tribe elder scoffed, drew a mileage. Take this, colonizer away. Yeah, if you're talking about the ladies outside, I placed him under a small genjutsu, Naruto said. Don't worry, it's nothing too serious. I kinda suck against anything but the beginner's move. Genjutsu? The merchant tribe wondered. What is this nonsense? An illusion. All I did was make them think that you're dreaming. That's all I did, I swear. You dare? The mining tribe elder said. Do you have any idea where you are? Yeah, I think I heard Zuri call it the Golden Palace or something, Naruto said. And where is Zuri? Said the merchant tribe leader. He was supposed to inform us when you woke up, not let you wander around on your own. Oh, I kind of ditched him with a clone of mine. He's on his way though. He shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. As Naruto stepped forward looking at the king, ignoring the rest of the elders. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, he said. We know who you are, the barrier leader said. Why are you here? Well, I couldn't help but overhear your meeting, and I think I have the answer. What are you talking about, boy? The river elder said. Well, I've been listening for a while. You're caught in an impossible situation, and you can't seem to find the answer. Do you sacrifice your daughter or the peace you kept for so long? And I assume that you have the solution. Yeah, me, Naruto said. You? Yes, I'm the solution, Naruto said. All of the tribe leaders started laughing in Naruto's face. As the river leader spoke first. How exactly are you our solution, boy? Naruto raised his hand as he created a clone beside him. As the council members were shocked, T'Challa got up, ready for anything. However, the clone just gave a salute, before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. What kind of magic is this? The merchant, tribe elder said. The king coughed in his hand. While that is impressive, how is that the answer? Naruto took another step forward. Looking at the king, imagine that. But times 1,000. That means you can mass produce an army, the river tribe leader said. Impossible. Impossible isn't in my vocabulary, Naruto said. Trust me, I can help you save your daughter. And why would we trust you? Well, I know I haven't exactly made the best impression. All I am is an outsider stepping on your toes. None of you like me, I can see that clear as day. But you need my help, you don't want to admit it. You don't want anything to do with me for the matter. So don't admit it, don't like me. Cast me out. But I'm saving that little girl. And if you want to send someone to tag along while I do it, feel free to do it. Why do you insist on helping us? Asked the border tribe elder, confused on his motives, as it was T'Challa who answered. Because he's just that kind of man. As the king looked over at his son, do you vouch for this man, my son? Yes, Baba, I will vouch for him, said T'Challa. Then, it is decided, he said as he patted his son on the shoulder. You will accompany this man on the rescue mission to Shave, Shuri. You will leave in a half an hour. But my king, all of the suits that were designed, they were sabotaged by the traitor Tishan. Sending him out using any of them is out of the question. Speaking of the traitor, we began our sweep to decide how much damage he did in our ranks. Even though we only scratched the surface, he has his finger dipped in a lot of places. Who's to say there aren't others allied with him as well? Perhaps if the prince did not kill the traitor, we could have interrogated him for that kind of information. The river tribe elder grumbled. We will discuss all of that later, the king said. For now, our main event is more important. What do you want in return? The merchant elder said to Naruto, as everyone turned to him. Excuse me? You're going to fight a war for us, boy. Clearly, you will want compensation for such a thing. So what do you want? As Naruto answered quickly, all I want is a private audience with the king. Do you really think that we will let everyone out, the king said, cutting them off. My king, are you surely gonna? If all he wants is to speak to me, then I shall accommodate him. Besides, I have planned to speak with him if the opportunity shall come. Now leave, the king said. The counselors got up slowly before passing Naruto on their way out of the chambers. T'Challa followed behind them as he stopped right next to Naruto. I'll be waiting for you, Uzumaki, he said. Sure thing, Naruto said. Can you get someone to send my friend? I'm sure she's getting antsy wherever she at. T'Challa gave a nod before exiting the chambers, leaving Naruto and the king alone. Seeing that the king was waiting for him to speak first, Naruto coughed in his hand. To be honest, I didn't expect you to speak to me so soon. It's best to get it over with, the king said. Now why did you come to Wakanda? The first time I came here, it was a clone of me. He was sent to place a tag to let me teleport to the village. I was doing that with every major capital or city in the planet. So, don't think that I was picking you guys for any other reason than that. The clone was looking for a good spot to place the tag when it was nearly captured by the prince and his entourage for questioning. Seeing a guy dressed like a cat and some heavily armored woman taking out my clone got my attention. So I decided to investigate myself. By that you mean attacking the general of my Dora mileage. You captured and interrogated her for information. That isn't the work of a benevolent man. To be fair, she attacked me first, and my interrogation was totally painless for her. And after I got what I needed, I dropped her off right afterwards. And what did you learn? The king asked. Naruto took a deep breath as he released. I learned that Wakanda is the most powerful country on the planet. You gain that power through a meteorite that is about the size of a small country. The hunk of rock buried underground. That said rock holds the strongest metal on Earth, maybe even several galaxies. Through centuries of research and trial by fire, you discover that it is also the most strongest metal on Earth as well. And you use it for everything: weapons, clothes, technology, infrastructure. You guys have mastered that element to a fine science. And I can also assume that you learn about our tradition as well, the king asked, as Naruto nodded. After our ancestors discovered vibranium, we quickly learned what our neighborhood tribe and villages would do to get their hands on it. We knew that if we want to keep that advantage and avoid war, we had to pretend that it didn't exist. So we stay out of matters while we build our country from the ground up. Eventually, it became a way of life, and we kept to ourselves, and this went on for years, decades, and centuries. And now you have to live with the consequences of that, Naruto said. Excuse me, the king said, as Naruto folded his arms across his chest. To be honest, I was a little pissed when I found out your little secret at first. You stood by and let countless of things happen in the name of isolation. But at the end of the day, I understand. This world's a primitive one. If you give them a bigger stake in the name of peace, they will turn it around on you and use it as a weapon. If you give them access to vibranium, you're asking for a bloodbath. Maybe not then and there, but it will happen once they learn how to control it. I've seen that kind of war. It isn't something I want to see again. The king raised an eyebrow. You speak as if you're not human. Guilty as charged, Naruto said. The king then tilted his head back as he then burst out laughing. And to think, for a moment, I thought you were some super-powered American coming to my village to judge me and my people for the way of we live. But in reality, you're just some alien. An outsider looking in. Back then my ancestors have to watch with the horrors that was going on around them. And now looking at you, I feel like it's the same. You are a white man coming into our country, doing as you please. Even now, knowing what you are, I can't help but to draw the same conclusion. You claim to understand our ways. You claim to agree with our tradition. But we don't need your approval, and we don't need your acceptance. My ancestors never watched. They never liked to watch and sit by as the people of Africa was taken away and never to return. The countless of massacre that was on that same soil are the problems that plague the world. We see these things and we don't scoff or turn our nose. We cry tears of sorrow because we know that we're guilty for their pain as well. If you wish to ally with us, I will consider it. But don't question or ponder our ways. I do that myself every day. Clearly, you're a proud man, Naruto said. I have no doubt that you're a good person, and probably even a better king. You look like a man that has sacrificed a lot for his country, and for that you have my respect. But I'm not going to agree to not question you. You look at me and you will see an image that just does not match up. I might look like the people that have plagued your land, but I'm not them, he said. I'm a self-contained maelstrom. A walking natural disaster. I came to see what you're doing. Not out of some self-seeing entertainment or anything like that. Just to see if you are another group of monsters that I have to destroy. Luckily, I see you for the people you are. You are good people with good intention at heart. You have my support on that front. So out of respect towards you, King, you don't want this maelstrom pointing at you, because no amount of vibranium will protect you from me. The two glared at each other for a long time, a battle of will going on between them, as neither of them said anything for a long while, until the king threw his head back and roared in laughter. As he got up from his chair and walked up to Naruto, as he pat him on the shoulder, "You are a brave man, Naruto Uzumaki. You and my son will get along well. I know that for a certain. Come, let's go meet with my son and your friend." Meanwhile, T'Challa was standing at the door with a nervous Ilyana beside him as she looked all over the place waiting for Naruto to arrive. Checking his armor, he sighed as he felt the extra weight the suit held. Unlike his, which had a sleek black design, his father was a bit more bulky. While still colored black, it was highlighted with gold. As he flexed his golden claws, he retracted them back in, with a loud noise that caused Ilyana to jump. He decided to ignore her, as he then stood at attention when he heard his father laugh echo through the halls. He heard Naruto laugh mixed in as well. As the two of them turned the corner, with the king resting his arm on Naruto's shoulder, trying to contain his laughter. I wish I could have met this Jiraiya, the king said. Yeah, he would have loved this place, Naruto said. Baba, T'Challa called out, as the king left Naruto's side and went to speak to his son. How does it fit, my son? The king asked, but he knew that the suit was made to fit any size. It fit perfectly, thank you, the prince said. He then placed both hands on his son's shoulders. Bring her back, he said. What about Ashebe? The council want us to bring him alive. End him, my son. He took my daughter and your sister. He turned Tishan against us. His death is the only thing he can do to repay for those crimes against us. And don't worry about the council, they answer to me. I will deal with them. Yes, Baba. Naruto walked over to Ileana with a smile. Miss me? Yeah, she said, with a small smile, as he frowned as he noticed her eyes were sunk in and her hands were shaking. Are you alright? I'm fine, she said, trying to come off as strong, but she failed miserably. After you was shot, she killed a gunman, Kurama said to the seal. Naruto stepped in closer. He was your first one, wasn't he? Ileana looked at Naruto as she blinked in surprise. No, she said. Go home, Naruto said. No, I can go home, Naruto said. Get some rest. This is not a discussion. You're no good to anyone like this. Ileana looked down. Okay, she whispered. As she opened a portal, Naruto asked, do you want a clone to keep you company? No, she said, as the portal closed behind her. As Naruto sighed, you'll have to talk to her, said Kurama. I know. After this, Naruto said. He then looked at T'Challa. You ready? Meanwhile, Shuri struggled as she was pushed through a large tent and thrown to the floor. Getting to her knees, she glared at the two men that led her to the tent. Hearing the cough, she turned her attention to the man sitting across from her. However, it was a hand puppet sitting on his hand that got her confused as hell. As she tried to get to her feet, sitting behind his desk, Ashebe smiled at the woman as she got to her feet. Hello, Shuri, he said. I hope your stay with us has been pleasurable. If by pleasurable you mean crappy food and worse company, then sure, she said. Well then, if good company is what you want, allow me to introduce you to Daki, Ashebe said, motioning to the hand puppet. You're kidding me, right? He's the leader? Shuri asked, as she wondered if this man was crazy. Ashebe's hand moved forward as Daki looked down at the princess. This is no joke, child, he said, moving his hand, making the puppet talk. I am the one that wished to bring our country to its knees. I suggest that you show me some respect. Shuri burst out in laughter. This is hilarious. You're actually serious. The puppet looked to the guard, as the guard nodded and slammed his gun into Shuri's head. She grunted as she hit the ground, as she reached her hand up and touched her head, as blood was on her hand. This is not a joke, Daki said. I will allow that slip up just this once, but if you haven't learned from that experience, I will do to you what I do to everyone that failed to learn from past mistakes. Understand? Shuri got back to her feet. Why did you bring me here, she said, her knees shaking slightly. We've been learned that a Wakanda's plane has landed a few miles outside of our camp. More than likely, the king has sent a rescue party. Earlier today, I received the news that your brother was saved by a man with strange abilities. I was not given a description, but I can only assume that him and your brother have come to rescue you. That can't happen. In 5 minutes, the plane should be ready and prepped for takeoff. Just know that if you cause Ashebe or any of my men trouble, I shall make you regret it. I won't kill you, but you'd wish you're dead when my men are done with you. Understand? Yes, Shuri said, though a gleam of defiance could be seen in her eyes. Puppet chuckled before looking to Ashebe. I'm trusting you, my friend. Do not disappoint me. Of course, Daki, I won't fail you. Good. Do not. Meanwhile, Naruto gripped his sword in his hand as he looked over at T'Challa, who put on his helmet. So what's the plan? We will have to figure out which tent they have her in. After that, you start the distraction while I find the tent that she's in and extract her and assassinate Ashebe. I've already got the recon covered, Naruto said. I made a clone and had it transform into a bird. She was taken to the largest tent in the center of the campsite. Somehow they know that we're here, and they're planning to take her to the plane that is sitting on the other side of the camp. So I'm going to go in as hard as possible and get all their attention on me. It should be easier for you after that. T'Challa nodded as he adjusted his chest piece. And what exactly you plan to do? Naruto smirked as he activated 6-path sage mode. There is no way their vibranium bullets can get me while I'm like this. I've got some pent up frustration I've been dying to release on these bastards. Did anyone ever told you a show off, Uzumaki? The prince asked. As he reached into his back pouch, and he pulled out a small black dot. We will use these as communications, he said. Stick it to the back of your ear. Naruto nodded and did as he was told. Alright, I'll see you in a bit, Naruto said. As he took off in the air, flying at top speed. Naruto grinned as he came to a stop several feet above the campsite. I gotta make a big entrance. What to do, he said. Don't you think you're going overboard by using his form, Kurama asked. These guys kidnapped a little girl and tried to bring a war. And they're the reason I got shot. I'm not gonna hold back against these guys. And I think it's time I send a message, not just to Wakanda, but for the rest of the world. What kind of message, Kurama asked? Don't screw with me kind? Didn't you already do that? I did that with S.H.I.E.L.D. They usually cover up every destruction I cause. And no, not that kind of message. Then what kind then, Kurama asked? The I won't sit around and let things slide kind. You're an idiot, Kurama said, grinning. Well, alright then, let's mess some shit up. As Naruto make a truth-seeking ball surrounding him like a spear. As he then dive in. As Naruto went through hand sign, magma release, magma rock fall. As he made the magma form around him like a meteor coming from the sky. As he then channeled electricity around the truth-seeking spear and around the magma meteor that was coming from the sky. Sage Art, Naruto said. Wrath of the Six-Path Sage. Boom! An explosion shook the entire place. As Shaby picked himself off the ground, as he pulled himself out of ash and rubble, as he saw the chaos in front of him, as he never thought he would see a meteor with lightning coming off of it and lava smack right in front of his campsite. Luckily, he started to take Shuri to the plane, so other than being thrown off their feet on the other side of the camp, he and his group were fine. What the hell was that, said Shuri, as she then saw a horde of blonde-haired men started to attack the camp. Get up, Ashiri said as he picked her up. We have to leave now, he said to the other man that was surrounding him. Shuri grunted pain as the man started to drag her, as she saw a wall of fire annihilate half of the camp. Fire style, great fire annihilation, Naruto said, as he breathed out a thick wall of fire towards the eastern side of the camp and incinerated it. As he saw his clones wreak havoc on any militia man that got in their way. As a group of men rushed forward as they opened fire on him, but Naruto stood there as all of the bullets simply bounced away from him. As Naruto dashed forward his blade, as he began his onslaught and started to rip people into pieces, slice them into half, as he went through hands and released a wall of lava that incinerated most of them. You ready, Kurama? Naruto said as he saw the rest of the hundreds of men coming towards him. Always, Kurama said as Naruto slammed his hands together as Kurama head formed around him. As they build a Biju bomb. Biju bomb blast, Naruto said, as the explosion teared through the area. The entire place was covered by a flash. As Shuri looked around, as she was in the plane, what the hell is going on? As Shaby growled in anger. What kind of monster is capable of something like that? He looked for the man that was holding Daki. Give me the case now, he said. But the man then cried out in pain, as he was then thrown to the side, as the Black Panther was there. Brother, Shuri said in relief. But she was grabbed from behind as Shaby's hand wrapped and squeezed around her neck. Stay back, as Shaby said. I'll kill her. I will. As he pointed his pistol at the girl's temple. He looked at his two other men. Get the case now. T'Challa remained calm as he just blasted away the two men from getting the case, throwing their body away. As he picked up the case himself and opened it to see a puppet inside. Drop him. Drop him now, you bastard, as Shaby said. But before he could or do anything, the earth started to shake as it cracked open as Naruto was manipulating the earth as pillars break from the ground, raising up all around them. As the three of them almost fall, as Shaby gun turned, wasn't pointing at Shuri's head anymore, as T'Challa moved off with incredible speed. As he grabbed his sister and jumped away, Uzumaki, destroy the plane now, he said, speaking his earpiece. Right, Naruto said. As Shaby looked up to see flames coming down on him. Naruto arrived at the scene as his clones were finishing off any stragglers as he exited Six-Path Sage mode. As he came to see Shuri and T'Challa standing over a man as he was cradling something in his hand. As Naruto walked over to see the man crying over a burnt up hand puppet. What the hell? No, 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 Shaby cried. Look away, Shuri, said T'Challa. What? Shuri said. As she heard his claws came out. Look away, you don't want to see this. She nodded slowly as she turned her head, closing her eyes as well. T'Challa, no, Naruto said. He has to die, Uzumaki, said T'Challa as he pulled his claw back. As Naruto grabbed his hand, look at him. You can't just kill him like this. He's clearly not well. As they have this debate, a shady hand started to reach behind him. Let go of me, Uzumaki, he's dying today. As he tried to get his grasp from Naruto, but he couldn't. My king has ordered his death. Naruto sighed as he released his grip, but he heard a gun hammer being drawn back. As he looked at Ashibi and saw his gun was drawn on them. But he put at his own head. Shuri, cover your ears, said T'Challa, as she covered her ears with her hands. Ashibi looked down at Daki. I failed you. I'm sorry, he said. Bang! But guys, we end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part, if you already know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notification to stay posted. I'm not going to be posting what if Naruto got banished and gathered all the tail beasts. That's going to be for tomorrow early, guys. Sorry about that. So just stay in tune for that tomorrow bright and early. Yeah, I'm out for now. Peace.